Hey, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for being here. So I have such an exciting Labor Day weekend planned, so I thought I would turn it into a little bit of a reading vlog. We're gonna be going out on the boat, and we have a couple different parties this weekend. And also what is most exciting is I'm wanting to read the nyaxia, I think that's how you say it, duology, which is The Serpents and the Wings of Night, and then The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, I think it's called. I have heard so many great things about these books, and I'm so excited to get into them this weekend. It's Friday morning, and my mom and my sister and I are going to be going out on the lake. We rented a boat, so it's going to be a super fun day. I'm hoping to get in a lot of reading, and also I'm trying to fit in as many summer things as I can before fall is here. So I still need to pack a bag for the boat today, so let's go ahead and do that. We just made it to the lake, so I want to show you guys what I brought to read with me because it's probably going to be really loud on the boat. So the main book I brought was The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I'm on page 208, chapter 25. So I'm going to be reading this one, and if I get bored of this one, I brought Jane Eyre and the Shakespeare Sonnets. I'm mainly wanting to annotate these because I've already read Jane Eyre and I'm going to get a different edition soon, and then this one's going to be kind of like my annotated edition. So yeah, I have plenty of reading to keep me busy. Okay, it's time for a boat tour. Anchor, sister, mother. Got a ladder, life jackets. Girl dinner, girl dinner. Okay, we made it to the marina. Now we're gonna go inside and look for some coffees. What else?
And ice cream.
And ice cream. And bathrooms. Oh my god, that's an Eastern painted turtle. So we didn't find any coffee, but we found some Celsius Oasis, which is really good, and we saw a bunch of really cute dogs. So it was successful. 100% Kentucky. You kids.
I don't know what to do.
But this is our little cove we picked out all to ourselves. Can you tell we got a discount on this boat? Those were unscrewed. I had to screw them back in.
Run sideways underwater.
I can't, my legs are tucked because I'm scared. I love how much this boat is held together by duct tape. So I switched over to highlighting my favorite lines from the sonnets. I was trying to read the other book, but I kept getting motion sickness from the boat rocking. So now I'm just going back to annotating this. My sister wanted something scary to read, so I brought her Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I thought that would be perfect because it's also a really fast read, so I thought it'd be good for a day like today. So we're done for the day. I just walked up the absolute biggest hill to go with the car and pick up my sister and mom. So I'm dying now. Time to head home, guys.
Yeah. We're gonna get ice cream.
Did we have a good time?
Yes. Yeah. I think my knee got sunburned. Yeah, Michaela got burned.
We got our ice cream. Michaela's eating her ice cream outside of the car because she don't like us licking. We finally made it back home, and I have to say, the fact that I did not get one drop of water on these books is such an accomplishment for me. I swear if I'm like reading and I even like look at water, it's on the book. But yeah, I didn't get to read as much as I wanted to of The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I have never really tried to read on a boat before, and whenever I'm like looking at something like my phone or a book and like a moving car, I get motion sickness like really bad. So on the boat, I read like 10 pages and I was like, I'm gonna puke. So that's why I switched over to just highlighting some of my favorite lines in the sonnets. Yeah, I'm excited to be home so I can get back into this. Some crazy stuff is happening, but once I do that, I will tell you guys about it later. Hello, happy Saturday. So I was going to talk about this last night, but I was just so exhausted. I could not do it, but I made it a little bit further to page 278. So I'll kind of give you guys just a quick little rundown. All I knew about this was that it was a fantasy, but it's actually a romantasy, which is a nice little surprise. And I was so stunned when I realized this was a vampire fantasy. You're very much like thrown into this vampire world, and it's a little bit complicated. There's like 3 different vampire houses, and then like clans within those houses. It's not really explained in detail. You kind of just like learn as you go along, but there is a handy dandy little glossary in the back of this. There are a lot of like made up words, so I thought this was pretty helpful to kind of refer back to when I was like, what does that even mean? From the jump, we figure out that our main character, Araya, is a human living in this vampire world. And her father, who is like the king of the world of vampires, adopted her whenever they found her after like her entire village had been like killed and her family was completely gone. And her vampire father saw something of himself in her. So then that's kind of how she joined this vampire world. And this is not just like your typical vampire lore. There's a very like complex mythological type background to everything. There's 12 like main gods, and then there's the god of the vampires who was like exiled from that main group. So every 100 years or so, the goddess hosts this trial, and it's kind of like a Hunger Games style competition where anybody who wants to join can enter into this competition, and then if they make it to the end, they get granted a wish by the goddess. So Araya wants to win this trial so she can become a part of the vampire world and not be like this weak little human anymore. Even though what I love is she is a human, but she is definitely not weak. She doesn't need taken care of. She is kicking asses and taking names. So I love that about her. So she meets the love interest during these trials, and he is from a warring vampire clan with the one that her and her father are a part of. And there's also all this kind of like political stuff going on in the background of this while the trials are happening. I got to a point last night where I thought something romantic was kind of brewing, so I stopped reading at that point because I knew if I went any further, I would end up reading until like 4 or 5 a.m. So now I'm super excited to get back into it and see what goes down. We actually don't have a whole lot going on today, so I should be able to read this. I need to do a whole lot of homework, so I don't have to do it tomorrow when we have a party and different stuff to go to. So I will check back in later with you guys, but so far this is so good and I'm excited to finish it. Also, I forgot to mention that it is September 2nd now. I did not know yesterday was the 1st, so I completely missed the first day of September, but you know what that means. Some fall decorations. I already have a few little things on my shelf that I got out when I was filming a short yesterday, but I am going to organize my bookshelf and add a lot of pumpkins. This is so bad, do not look at it. So I think I'm gonna do the top like philosophy and classics, and then fantasy, general like lit fic, and then like self-help and Bible studies below. The fact that I have the Fellowship of the Ring and then the Return of the King, but not the Two Towers, I should be arrested for this crime. This is all the classics. I think I'm gonna put the Tolkien on the end of this. Oh wait, no, I do have more classics. Okay, so this is looking a little bit better. It's still just as chaotic. It just doesn't look like it. I blew out that candle because I thought it was like way too close, and that's a little fire hazard. So is this one. I probably should blow that one out too, but I'll do that in a second. We got some fantasy down here. So I just made it to this part where they finished a trial and now they're having like this huge celebratory dance slash feast, and Araya gets back to her room and all her clothes are gone and all she has is like a super pretty like sexy violet dress laid out on her bed. Now she has to wear that down there. I don't know why, I just love it so much when like the warrior princess that usually wears like all leather and armor has to put on like a super pretty dress for like the ball. Yeah, and you know when she walked down there, everybody was looking and I was like, oh yes, this is what I live for. So I'm probably gonna get back to doing a little bit more homework. I have a quiz I have to take and then I should be done and I can hopefully finish this tonight. I just finished The Serpents and the Wings of Night and I loved it. The entire thing was such high stakes and I am so invested in the love story between Araya and the love interest Rain. I love Rain so much. But there was such a big plot twist at the end that I was not expecting, and thank goodness I can get the next book online so I don't have to order it and wait a couple days before I can figure out what is happening with this cliffhanger. And I think I'm turning into a romantasy girly. I just have such a fun time reading these types of books. I really like Carissa Broadbent, and I think it's really nice that she listed trigger warnings and things that might be difficult in the very beginning of the book. Like, let me show you. So that's really nice. And then also in her author description, oh my gosh. In the about author, it says she lives with her husband, one very well-behaved rabbit, one very poorly behaved rabbit, and one perpetually skeptical cat in Rhode Island. Rabbit girls are very much like horse girls. They are a distinct type of person. And I was a fellow rabbit girl for a very long time, so I feel like I know her very well now. I'm gonna give this one a pretty high rating. I wanna say like a high 4 stars. As a romance, it's great, but the fantasy element, I'm not really quite sure about yet. The world is very strange, and I'm not exactly sure what kind of world we're actually living in. Like, is it just vampires and humans? Are there witches? Are there other different powerful beings? And also the gods that exiled the goddess of vampires, where are those gods? Like, are they still alive? What happened to them? So maybe the second book will answer all of that, but right now it's kind of very ambiguous on that front. But I absolutely love the concept of this vampire trials type deal. So I'm gonna hop into the next book because I have to see what happens next. I'm honestly so surprised that a book this new is already on a lending library site, but I'm not gonna complain about it. Hello, happy Sunday. So I made it a little bit further into The Ashes and Star-Cursed King, and now we're switching between Araya's point of view and my fictional boyfriend Rain's point of view, which I don't really know how to feel about it yet, because I like Rain kind of remaining as a mystery, I guess, and not really seeing his thoughts. So far we're dealing with the aftermath of like the big plot twist that happened at the end of the last book. And I hate it when the love interests are fighting. It's like, oh my gosh, just kiss already. I'm so awful. I'm just like, when is somebody gonna kiss here? We're headed to a good old-fashioned Midwestern Labor Day party, so we're gonna head out to that, and I'll give you guys an update once we get back. Okay, so we're back home already. The party was very boring. I thought about filming some of it, but it literally just would have been like video of like people sitting in lawn chairs and like corn dip. So I didn't really film anything, but it's still pretty early. It's about 7 o'clock right now. So I'm kind of wanting to make a little bit of a campfire and maybe read outside for a little while. And I'm gonna pray that the bugs don't attack me too bad. If you ever need to start a fire, dryer lint will do the job. So I'm back upstairs now. It got dark out there and it was kind of scary, so I had to come back inside. But I made it to page 388, and thank goodness this couple has finally got their crap together and things are starting to go the way that I want them to. I was getting a little annoyed with them, I'm not gonna lie. This world is starting to make a little bit more sense because it's so political right now, like with the war and everything going on and all these different coups. So now that it's being discussed more, it's like easier to grasp like who's a part of like which side and why they're at war. I have 200 pages left of this and I know that I'm gonna have to finish it tonight, and it is 9 o'clock, so it's probably gonna be another late night. I swear I need to read romanticises like this whenever I'm doing the 24-hour readathons because these would make it so easy. I have been reading for already like 5 hours, I think, today. And I haven't even been trying. My mom got a little bit mad at me because we had people over and I was just outside reading. I don't think I've read anything as fast as I read Fourth Wing and then these two books. Carissa Broadbent is so good at like building up suspense and like rising action with our two love interests. I had to read until like page 300 just to make sure that they worked their crap out. I cannot wait to finish this tonight. It's gonna be another late night, but I'm having so much fun, and I'm gonna like push through the last 200 pages and I'll check back in once I'm finished and I can give you like my overall thoughts on the duology. Howdy. So I finished The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King last night, and I wanted to give myself some time to kind of just like sit on it because I'm feeling very conflicted actually. A lot of my questions that I had about the world building from the first book were never really answered, and I even have like more questions now. Now we know that there can be like seers and like sorcerers and also like half vampires and then turned, and the turned vampires are looked down upon. So I guess regular vampires can have babies? I don't know, I'm just like, what's going on here? So, I think in terms of world building, this was like really lacking for me. I was very much invested in the love story, and once that kind of like reached its resolution, I kind of lost interest in the book a little bit, which was like the last 150 pages, unfortunately. I'm not really sure why. I just didn't care about the whole political war, like warring sides and factions, and about them like reclaiming their kingdom and stuff. And I think that's due to the lack of world building, because like why would I care about these kingdoms when I haven't been really given a reason to? So the first book, The Serpent and the Wings of Night, I thought was very strong, but I think the second book was kind of a little bit of a disappointment for me. I liked the romance aspect, but I thought the fantasy was just kind of lacking. So I think I might give the second book like a 3.5 stars maybe, because I really do like Carissa Broadbent's writing, and I think she's a great storyteller, but I just wish the world would have been a little bit more developed. I would definitely still recommend this duology though, especially if you love the romantasy. And let me tell you, she can write a spicy scene. I think that's pretty much gonna wrap up this little weekend reading vlog. I hope you all enjoyed it, and maybe subscribe if you want, and I will see you all in the next video.